Hello, hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? So it looks like Seth Rogers has an update for us all, and it's supposed to be going live any second now. So we are going to check it out and see what's going to be said. Let's see. There's already lots of comments coming in. Oh, goodness. Is he going to go live? Is he not going to go live? Throw up those green hearts. Green hearts for Sebastian. Yep.
Guys, to the
Oh,
inaugural live of Seth Rogers on his own channel. Seth is the father of 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, the young man who went missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26th. So Seth, good evening, first off, sir. And tell us about your channel. Tell us what the purpose is and how this came to be.
Well, I decided I was going to set up this channel because watching a lot of other people's channels about my son, people have a tendency of have gravy in the mouth, and they're not paying attention to what's coming out of their mouth. It needs to be about my son. Everybody wants to throw their 2 cents in when it's not even worth a penny. And it's just false narratives out there, false information. I figured what better than to take that away from them and put it back in control of Sebastian's family.
Well, and nobody knows the young man better than his father, correct?
Well, he knows himself better than I do, but I'm going to try to be a second close.
Perfect. So let me ask you this, big dog. I mean, the questions that we're getting rolling in by the dozens have to do with your surgery, your recovery. Talk to us a little bit about your surgery. How did that go? How you feeling? What was the experience like? That kind of thing.
Well, this hand is definitely working again. No pain. I'm great. It was like instantaneous when I was done with the surgery. I had no more pain going down into my right arm. So I'm happy about that. I haven't had to take anything except for ibuprofen and a little bit of Aleve since the surgery. So I'm good on that end. I'm tired of having to regulate medicines like my doctor was wanting me to. I'd rather not take them. Rather have my multivitamin, my fish oil, my B12, my normal stuff that I take every day.
So tell us about that experience of waking up on the table. We talked about that a little bit.
My throat still hurts. I woke up and I had tubes and stuff shoved down my throat. I was trying to rip them out. I actually got bruises where, they had 3 people on one side of me trying to hold me down when I came out. It was not pleasant. But as soon as they got stuff pulled out of, the tubes and stuff ripped out of my throat, as soon as I was able to start breathing on my own again, I was able to calm down. I was aggravated, that's for sure. But, after that, it was just getting me back to the recovery room, then making sure my dressing was good, making sure that I could get up and walk around, stuff like that. Within 30 minutes, I was sitting there chomping at the bit trying to get out of the hospital. And they were like, no, you got to stay here for 3 hours.
I'm sure you were quite the minding patient, right?
I was an angel, thank you.
So tell your audience here, your supporters, what types of things were you not able to do when you were dealing with this shoulder pain? I mean, I have an idea. I know what's at the top of the list, but in addition to the obvious, searching for your son, I mean, what are the other things that you miss doing that you're going to be able to get back to doing now that you're out of pain?
Besides back to looking for my son, because I was under doctor's orders, I I wasn't allowed to drive. A lot of people don't realize that I was not allowed to drive. So every time I drove somewhere, I had to have somebody come pick me up. And it was not one of the, I don't like having to wait on people to do stuff. I've always been a person that just relies on myself. So relying on other people is extremely hard for me. Can't wait till I can actually ride my motorcycle again. I mean, it's one thing to be in pain, and at the beginning it was okay, but like a 10-minute ride on my bike, every bump, anything that just jarred it, because I had nothing left in between my C5 and my C6 and my neck, except for the nerve. So every time I hit a bump, all it was doing was separating and squishing down on that last nerve.
And that's why you didn't ride your motorcycle at the vigil, correct?
Yep. I couldn't. I mean, that's an hour and 15 minutes, depending on traffic, just to get down there, plus then the ride back while we waited and everything, or else I would have been on my bike.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else you missed doing? You went to the shooting range a lot, right? I
used to before all this happened. And yeah, no, shooting was not a task or activity that I could enjoy. So I'll be hitting the range again, making sure I'm still up to par.
Very nice. Very nice.
You know, well, going fishing, I couldn't go fishing. I couldn't do a lot of things. Like, I mean, even simple maintenance, like washing my truck was not something that I could do. Cleaning my house was a pain in my hindquarters. There was just a lot of things I couldn't do.
Yeah. So Seth, I mean, obviously the big reason people are coming to your channel, other than to support you looking for your son, is, you know, these folks are hoping to see a little more about Sebastian. They want to learn about who Sebastian is. They want to see things from you, the father, that they can't see on any other channel. So I understand that you've got some pics, some video that you're going to share with the audience, and you're going to explain to them what these pictures mean to you and what the story behind the pictures is. Is that correct?
I've got some pictures that I'm willing to share currently. I mean, a lot of people don't. This is all I have left of my son until I can find him and bring him home. But I cherish all these pictures that I have taken. It was definitely a different life for most of these pictures, because these were pictures when he was younger. I've got some newborn pictures in here. I've got pictures of him still in the hospital, like less than 24 hours old. Like, I try to take pictures of him all the time when he was younger. I try to take pictures. A lot of people don't know that the picture of him on the shirts, I took that picture the weekend that I had him last. And that was the last picture that I got to take of my son. And I got to take that when we went out to eat.
Well, brother, I can tell you, you've got a massive army in here with you, supporting you tonight. We feel you. We're with you. We're shedding tears with you. We got your back. Let's light up the chat with those green hearts, and let's get to looking at these pictures so we can get everybody refocused on what all this is about, which is finding your son.
It's about knowing Sebastian somewhat more than y'all do. Seen some of the videos, like the Christmas videos that I showed. I haven't even let all of those. Phones back then didn't record like they do now. So, but
wow,
these are some of the pictures I have of him, and him in his crib with a little baby.
Take your time through these, Seth. Take your time, buddy.
Me and Katie picked out this whole bedroom set for him. It was great. I mean, He was a bundle of joy. He wasn't even a year old at these times.
So what are we seeing up here at the top? Is that a tippy cup? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that was his car's sippy cup.
Okay.
You know, didn't have him on a bottle for long. When he was born, like first few months of his life was like literally a blur. Child literally hit the ground crawling because he didn't walk. But I mean, he was awake on average for 18 hours a day. I mean, when he slept, it was amazing when he slept. 4 hours every once in a while here and there. Child just didn't stop. When he did stop, it was because he was asleep. He liked animals even then. His whole room was
for everybody that hasn't been quite as connected to the case, his animal of choice was what?
Oh, his favorite? Cats.
Okay. Any specific type, color, just cats in general?
Cats. Just cats. All cats. I really wanted to I want to get him a Savannah. It's a pretty big cat, but it can also be a house cat. Me, I'm a fan of dogs. I don't mind cats. It just means an extra pill I have to take every day, depending on their dander supply. But he really likes cats. I haven't found an animal that he really doesn't like. I mean, he got bit in the face by a dog and had to have 7 stitches in his face, and he still wasn't scared of dogs. Wasn't scared of him one bit. Wasn't even scared of the dog that bit him. He had no fear of animals. Kind of just understood. But his whole room was a lion, like jungle theme. So he had giraffes, turtles. He had a huge lion, gold with mane. He slept with that thing. It's a little fuzzy, but he was always moving. You can see the giraffe in the background. Definitely way before Harry Potter, and he was so up to the. But long blonde hair, always. Definitely a different time. We lived in South Georgia at this point in time. This is about the time that Uncle Taco's daughter would be watching Sebastian. Yeah, we had moved into Coleraine Oaks. He was already learning how to swim and everything else here.
I mean, it looks like the world was his at that point. You guys were just living in it. The toys all over the place. Just looked like he was living life, and everybody was getting him and buying him and providing him with everything he wanted.
Yeah, everything was his.
Absolutely.
Everything was his. I was his dad. Katie was his mom. Everywhere. Everything was his. He definitely had a good childhood. At least a very young, good childhood. Me and him used to sit there and we would dance around this whole place because right back here that right there is like a divider wall between the kitchen,
Okay.
living room, and then on the other side was our dining room, our eat-in area, which was also extended part. But there was that divider wall, and you could walk around that whole thing. We'd sit there and play music and just dance around the whole house. I mean, the kid loved to dance.
So how old is he in this picture? How old was he when he started walking? You know, just to give the audience kind of a reference point.
He's 2 in this picture.
Okay.
He started walking at about a year and a half.
Okay.
He was crawling at I want to say 4 months. He was crawling, less than 4 months. He knew he had done something. I can't remember what he had done, but he walked up and I just had to take a picture.
Boy, he looks ornery in the picture. I'm not going to lie.
He still is ornery, I think. I mean, he gets that from me. I mean, what can I say?
There's not a surprise member in the audience after that comment.
Probably not. I mean, I gave him all his best qualities in life. Being stubborn, pig-headed, ornery, focused. Not, I'd like to hope to think that his curiosity is something I've given him in life too. Because he definitely likes to learn. But it's got to be his way. He's got to learn his way. I was outside, still in Coleraine Oaks. It's just that you see that smile. And I mean, how can you tell that face no? I mean, anything that he wanted, he got it.
You know, you can't read too much into a picture, but a picture is worth 1,000 words, and he truly looks loved in that picture.
Here's something about that picture. If you look at his chin, you see the drool. All right, the kid drooled a lot. All right, and there's one thing that I noticed about him when he was younger is that most people, if they eat peanut butter, how it gets, no, I've watched this kid eat peanut butter and his drool is just like anti-peanut butter. Like when he was a kid, the peanut butter would just, I mean, I've got pictures of it somewhere too, but it would never stay. I mean, kid loves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then, started getting him to drink coffee at a later age. And then I introduced him into toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and coffee. It's a great breakfast. I mean, probably not the healthiest thing in the world, but it's better than just a cup of coffee. Man, this kid thought it was the cream of the crop when I toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was my Aunt Sharon that literally taught me about toasted peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I learned those when I was, I want to say 15 when she taught me about those. I mean, that was several decades ago, but we're not going there.
Yeah, Seth, a lot of people don't know that you and I grew up 15 minutes apart. Of course, the part of the country that we grew up in, I mean, we figured out a lot of good things to do with peanut butter. We had peanut butter and jelly, toasted peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and banana. I mean, we did it all.
Peanut butter and marshmallow, just peanut butter and butter. I mean, like sometimes that's all you got in life is bread and peanut butter. Peanut butter and Rice Krispies. You can make plenty of stuff with peanut butter. It's like having flour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was no longer in the crib, that's for sure. But he had his own little car's bed. Again, if he wasn't sleeping, he was moving. Look at him, chunky little legs.
Again, it kind of looks like the world was his. You know, you guys were just living in it.
The world is still his. We just got to find him.
Absolutely.
Just got to find him so that we. I mean, if you look down here at the bottom at this picture right here, though, that's a portion of the lion.
Okay.
Because it was everywhere that he went. He really was a Cars fan, and if you look, his T-shirt is a Buzz Lightyear.
So when he was younger, he was a big Cars fan because he had the Cars Tippy Cup, the Cars bed. I mean, that was a big thing for him, correct?
Yeah, he was a Disney kid, that's for sure.
Okay.
You know,
Did he like any other Disney movies?
when you said name one. I mean, he did Cars, he did Buzz Lightyear, Monsters Inc.
So a lot of the more animated Disney movies, correct?
Yeah, as he got older, I'm a Star Wars fan, and he of course became a Star Wars fan as well. His mama, she's a Harry Potter fan, and you know, I'm a Space Wizard fan. And then at one point in time, she decided to ask him, you know, which is better, Harry Potter or Star Wars? And he had a hard time making a decision. So I told him, do you want a magical wand or do you want a lightsaber? And being the typical boy that he is, he was like, I will take the lightsaber. Move on. So, you know.
Oh boy.
Blackmail pictures. Some of these are obviously these pictures are not in chronological order. Leave my retro 80s table and chairs out of it. Boy, dad, like this stuff. If I remember correctly, I believe I want to say that was oatmeal. And he did not appreciate me taking a picture of him, as you could tell.
Yeah, he looks thrilled.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of when I was married. That's the look I would get when I was in trouble. Yeah, the thing about Daddy's watch. So I gave it to him once, and needless to say, that was him showing me the last time I ever found my watch. Because after this, I never found it again.
That old dad wrapped around his finger, didn't he?
Yes, he does. He still does. I mean, yes, he did then. He does now. I mean, it's my mini me. He's everything that makes me who I am. Another. Oh, he was in his bouncy at the house, in his little onesie. He was a big boy.
Yeah, he was a little chunk there, wasn't he?
Yeah, if you look at him now, you'd never known how chunky he was as a kid, as an infant.
Absolutely.
Boy is like I mean, there's a Mexican restaurant we go to here in Clarksville. They serve literally chicken burritos that are like this big. They're the whole size of the platter, and he'll eat a whole one. He'll eat all of it, and then he'll eat the chips, and then he'll be like, "Can we have dessert?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Like, where I don't know where he puts it all. I know where I put it, but I don't know where he puts it all.
We're going to give him credit that he looks chunky because he's got horizontal stripes on, right?
No. This was his first birthday.
I have to be honest with you. I think he might like a little bit of cake. I'm not sure. I don't know for a fact yet, but
Just
I have to think that he thinks the cake looks good.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's watching everybody else while he eating the cake.
I see that.
And there was no cake for nobody else. All him.
And just so the audience knows, Seth, when you and I talk about Sebastian, we don't talk about him in past tense ever, do we?
Nope. He's still
We're talking about past tense because these are old pictures, just so everybody knows. It's no disrespect to Sebastian or Seth. We're talking about then as was because these are
now.
Compared to now, correct.
I mean, he was 1 year old. This was 14 years ago, people.
Absolutely.
It was his birthday. And yeah, he was definitely into cake. I still think he's into cake. But, we got to find him so we can give him his next birthday cake. His last one, I believe, was an ice cream cake that I got him. I'm not really a fan of ice cream cake. But his birthday being in December, he's 15. Take him out to dinner. Take him to the arcade. Let him go play go-karts. One day old.
Holy cow.
See, he hadn't even been breathing oxygen for 24 hours yet. This is still in the hospital. Yes, I was there when he came out, and I took him home.
How do you feel when you're looking at these pictures, Seth? Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel a bundle of emotions? Is it all the above?
It's all of the above, plus it feels kind of like it was yesterday. It's like, where did the last 15 years go? Like, I remember when he was this. He was so small and itty bitty, and he just fit in my arm. And now he's, almost as tall as I am. It's just, where did all the time go?
Makes you want to tell the audience to hug their babies, doesn't it?
Man, take care of your kids. Hug them. Tell them you love them. Because you're not guaranteed tomorrow with them. Back to his favorite thing, cake. I think he was wearing more of it than he had actually eaten it. I'm just saying.
And he doesn't look in trouble either. He looks like that you guys were fine with it.
I was told that I wasn't allowed to smash his face in the cake. I was trying to give him all the cake.
I don't think he needs to. I think he looks like he got.
He did a pretty good job.
I think he did a really good job there.
Yeah, yeah, he didn't need any help at all. I think he's got a couple spots right here around the nose. I mean, that are missing. I think the reason his mouth was open is that there was cake and icing stuck in his nose. I mean, he was just trying to breathe. We're bringing him home.
So this was on the way home from the hospital.
Yep. Yes, it was. Nothing fit him because he was actually really small. He didn't get, feeding him the formula got him chunky. But he had to fill out. I got another picture around here somewhere. Look at a fat belly.
He's with Mama there, correct?
Yep.
He's got piercing eyes.
Most definitely.
Without a doubt. I've watched his eyes change color many a times. You can see right here that these pretty much right now are still blue. When he looks at you, he looks through you, deep into your soul. Like, really? Is that how we're going to play this game?
That's how it gets.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, see this pinky? You know you're supposed to be wrapped around it, right? Again, as you can tell by the shirt, he drooled a lot.
I gotta tell you, a lot of babies do. I asked my mom because she said the same thing, except my hair did not lay as flat as your son's. It stuck up that she was so embarrassed she put a bonnet over my head. So
He decided to get in the diapers. See
Wow, is that what that is?
all of this up here? Yeah, he got into the stack of diapers.
And that's his lion over to the side, correct?
Yep, that's his lion. Then he had his little monkey rug. Oatmeal.
That's adorable.
that smile. It's the smile.
Spoon didn't help, obviously. Oh, that is the end of that slideshow.
So, Seth, of course, we all appreciate, Sebastian's Army appreciates you sharing those incredibly personal pictures with us.
I
Getting
definitely, personally, I appreciate everybody who came into this live with me. And I appreciate everybody in chat Uh, I will let you all know that I have been speaking with law enforcement. I've been speaking with Sumner County. They're giving me information. I didn't know who it was, but they called me about uh, the body over in Hendersonville, and they called me about the body that they found in Nashville, so that I didn't have to wait too long. So they're keeping me informed of certain things that are going on.
Good.
I do call them. I do talk to them. I can drive, though limited. I plan on going over to Sumner County on Monday, so I can have a conversation with them on Monday.
Just so we're not ignoring the good people in the chat, are there any updates at this time that you can share with the audience, or no?
I do know that there will be some searches. I believe on the 11th, we're setting things up for a search on the 11th at Rockland Park. We're going back out there with all the rain and everything that we've been having. We're wanting to make sure that we've gone over everything. We are still handing out flyers. Still having flyers sent to people. If you haven't got flyers yet, my apologies. It's a slow process at times. I did run out of flyers. I will be picking more up next week, and I will be making sure that flyers get sent out to people. As for bracelets, right now, I know people want to purchase bracelets. I don't have any more bracelets. I have to make another order. So it'll be a moment until they come in.
If you don't mind, I'll talk to you about that after.
All right.
So Seth, do we have anything else before I introduce our very special guest?
That we do not.
So, guys, we have a very good friend, special guest with us tonight, Bullhorn Betty. And Betty, welcome. I want to extend a very sincere thank you on behalf of Seth and myself for all you do for Seth and helping him find his son. That includes, but isn't limited to, the shoulder to lean on, the boots on the ground, the helping with the YouTube channel, the support in the community, the support out in the social media streets. I can't thank you enough for giving him an additional sister through this time. So without further ado, you take the floor and talk to us about your trip to Hendersonville.
Yeah, so I thought Hendersonville was enlightening. I did find out some information for myself. We were able to post, I posted just about half. He handed me a stack of flyers, but I posted I think it was about 200 of those. I think he gave me like close to 300. And so I have about 50 of those left with some bands. I'm going to be mailing those bands out. I haven't had a chance to with the new girl, but I thought it was pretty successful, with a few hiccups,
Sure.
So
What did you think about the community of Hendersonville? Was it your first time there?
it was my first time there. I was a little disappointed in the lack of signage. I have to be lack of anything to even represent Sebastian, even ribbons and bows and just something. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't see more of I've been in smaller communities that had larger support, larger array of signage throughout a county. I didn't see that here. There was nothing like that here. So I think that was a little um, discouraging, but we posted the flyers. I hear the flyers, certain flyers have come down. So I'm hoping that people continue to put them up because what I learned going into these communities is just because, we may know it on social media, the people, maybe one or two houses may know about it. But what you find out is people down the road, people that don't watch the news or are really busy, they don't know about this. You have people literally living in a community right next to you that has never heard Sebastian Rogers' name. I guarantee it, because this is something I see in every single community. That's why it's so important to have the signage, to have things out there so people can see it and pay attention to it. And I feel like that was what was missing. So we did what we could do to correct the issue.
Right, right. And so you, after you did a little digging, when you and I spoke, you kind of acknowledged that you knew that there was signage there at one time. You knew there was, yard signs, there was telephone pole signs, there was all these things, and then they weren't there. And then you go flood the community with more signage, and then you're hearing now that here we go again. It's been taken down. I mean, just your thoughts. I mean, why is that?
I don't know who would take signs, missing person signs down for a 15-year-old boy, for any person, not just a kid, but for any person. This is something I really don't understand, because the child is missing. We need to find him. Why would anybody want to remove signs to put his face in front of people? That I will never understand. And again, this is across the I have never in my life heard people removing missing person signs or flyers before. I've just never experienced a situation like that personally,
Well,
or ever heard of it.
the only thing I can equate that to, because I live in a small community here in Oklahoma. Every time I walk in Walmart, walk out of Walmart, you see the signs that are there in Walmart, the missing children signs.
Wow.
And I look at those.
Not to interrupt you, Tony.
Go ahead, buddy.
I know that I've been to places to put flyers up that I've been to before, and they had been people in there like, "Can I talk to your manager?" Not to sound like a Karen, but I asked upper management before I put signs in the building to make sure that I have the okay. And I've had them sit there and be like, we just took his picture down. We took the last poster down, a week ago. And it's like, well, why? And they were like, somebody came in and said that he was found. And it's like, I'm his dad. He hasn't been found. If he had been found, I sure wouldn't be out here posting pictures, and it's just, it's horrible what the links are. Some of these people who have no humanity left about them. This is a missing child. Whether it's my child or somebody else's child, to sit there and walk in and be like, "Oh, they found him. You should take the sign down." Yeah, you didn't go in and take it down, but you went in and gave false information to somebody, and they took the sign down. Because, of course, if they found him, why do we need signs up? But he hasn't been found, and they're spreading false information. And the fact is that it goes on in the real world as just like it does in social media. And it's really a lack of human faith.
Seth, I could tell when I saw Betty's face that that's the first time she had heard that too. When you get to thinking about why a good person would take down a sign, that's really the only explanation, is that they're being told that the child is found. And I got to tell you, that's a new one to me, and that's really odd. Thoughts on that, Betty?
Well, I'd like to know who would do that. It seems like somebody that has a dog in the fight. I mean, why would anybody do that? Just preemptively go up to see a sign and say, "Hey, he's been found and we're going to take it down." I mean, it just, who would do that? Like, I don't understand why anybody would not want a missing person flyer up for somebody that's missing.
Well, and I know on your show you talked a little bit, just to shift gears a little bit, you talked about some of the areas of interest.
Yes.
Don't want you to share anything you haven't already shared, but I know after kind of wrapping your brain around the area, making a few drives here and there, that you've got some areas that you really think are kind of hot spots. Can you discuss that?
I'll discuss them vaguely, but obviously the three communities are Hendersonville, Gallatin, which is basically Sumner County, but there's very specific areas there. There are a couple things over in White House that I'd like to look at, but I think we have some gaps that we just need to resolve. And I think that looking at this at with a different approach may come up with something.
Right.
Right now we know that the area around Ground Zero, which is Sebastian's home, his primary home with Katie and Chris, has been thoroughly searched. At least the 5 mile radius has been searched, researched, over searched. So that's not the place that I think we would be looking at. We're also having people, reaching out to autistic centers. We're getting flyers into Alaska because people were concerned about Alaska. Although that's not going to be an area that I can search, it's still something that we can infuse with some information to see if there's any type of leads out of that area. Um, so as far as search areas, I really think it needs to be the three places. I mean, he was in Hendersonville, so that should be a given. There's family in Gallatin, that should be a given, and of course, there is a route, so that has to be looked at.
Right. Right. Well, you made an interesting comment the other day to me when we were talking about this protocol for missing. Is it missing persons, missing children? Can you explain that?
Yes, so it's the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. They are basically the house that they have built into most of the statutes around the country, them being the clearinghouse for missing persons. So how it works is law enforcement has to meet the Amber Alert. So law enforcement has to meet some certain criteria, but the nonprofit that deals with it is the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. And so they put all your Amber Alerts up there and they monitor those. Well, they also do a lot more than just that. They train law enforcement, they give clear directives on how, what the proper protocol should be. It's obviously not something that is written in stone or something that is, they have to do by statute. Some people have adopted it by statute, some states have not. And so they basically state, because you don't know the situation that's going on when there's an initial missing person, you should always, even if you feel like it's a runaway, you should always, always, always treat the area as a crime scene. We heard that there was people in the house. We've heard that there's not forensic testing. One of the protocols is you go into the house, you secure the bedroom, and you get the necessary paperwork signed up front by the owners, which at this point would be Katie. She was the one that was there when law enforcement got there. And that gives them the right to search that property and search that bedroom. And at that point, when they secure that paperwork, they should be immediately doing forensic testing. Not necessarily immediately if it doesn't warrant it, but we know that the DA was out there within 72 hours. We know that there was a major change in this case that took this case 180 degrees within the first 3 days. We know that law enforcement scaled back the searches and started looking at this as an investigation by day 8. So even if it wasn't done initially, at those points, that's when that should have been done. But within 3 months is everything I'm reading is when you should have your forensics collected. You're not getting that here. So we're learning that there may not be any forensics at all of that house yet. And I just can't imagine 5 months later when this child put his head in a bed inside that home and he's not there, how we don't have at least forensics for that room. There's probable cause to get forensics for that room at minimum, maybe not the whole house, but definitely that bedroom.
Seth, can you confirm or deny that's been done? Do you know?
I do know that I was there at that house every day for the first 3 days. I did not stay the night there. I drove all the way back to Clarksville. Would take a different route. Every time that I left here and went there, I would take a different route because I'm looking for my son. But they had dogs in there, but I never once saw them come in with any type of forensic people.
And
Yeah,
Betty,
When I got there the initial day, there was a bunch of people in the house, detectives, law enforcement, but I didn't see anybody, cordon offing anything to make sure nobody could go in there, dusting for fingerprints to see if there was other fingerprints.
That's another thing that's in that National Center for Missing and Exploited directive is the fingerprinting of the room. I found at the front door where they think Sebastian went out of, they didn't even fingerprint. There's just things here that I feel like, I don't want to say that the stuff is lost. I don't think it is, but they've got to get in there and get some of this stuff done. And I don't understand what is taking them so long. I can't for the life of me figure this out.
now would this be, for the audience, is this where the luminol comes into play and things of that nature?
Yeah, they've been using a new product called Blue Star as opposed to luminol. But either way, it's basically the same thing. They've got to spray. You've got to black out the windows. It's a noticeable process. Like they put almost like these black trash bags over the windows. They have to have it pitch black dark inside for some of this stuff to fluoresce. Some of it's faint, so the darker it is, the better they can see, and that's why they do what they do. It also helps identify, like amino black helps identify any type of latent stuff that you can't really see, footprints and other types of stuff that kind of, none of that has been done. And then we hear that Katie has cleaned the house. Some of that forensic stuff could have been removed from that cleaning.
Right.
So I just got a problem, seeing these cases and knowing how important forensics are in these cases. Not getting them done up front is, to me, it doesn't feel like every stone's being turned over is all I'm saying.
Right. So what else, Betty? Do you have anything else?
Well, I think the only thing right now that's anything else for me is just getting everybody refocused on the real purpose of why we're all here. At the end of the day, Seth was showing a child, a child in his infant form. I mean, this is a human being that has been missing for a significant amount of time. And I really hope people take that and internalize it, because this family does need help. This child still needs to be brought home. And there's a lot of stuff going on in these cases on the internet that doesn't need to be going on. For example, the constant attacks. Is it impossible for people not to speak about Sebastian without attacking somebody? This is a 15-year-old boy that disappeared. I didn't do it. Tony didn't do it. Seth didn't do it. This child is missing. Attacking people that are out looking and trying to make a difference and trying to help. I just don't feel it's a great path forward.
One of the things that kind of aggravate me on my end is that, I work in law enforcement, and I'm the type of person that I would take 100 inmates walking across the field, looking for, any type of evidence or whatnot. Whether I like them or not, they have a purpose. And while there are some of these people out here on the internet that are sitting there holding their shows, doing their clickbait, which I know they're probably going to have this right after we end this live. They're going to be all over it. They're going to be throwing as much shade as they can at me. That's fine. It's hot outside. It doesn't bother me. I mean,
it shouldn't be that way. Is my point.
My son shouldn't be missing.
That's true.
There's a lot of things in this world that are wrong. That are just wrong. Human trafficking is wrong. Doing things to children are wrong. People being just mean and hateful is wrong. Nobody will understand where I'm coming from when I sit there and I am upset with his mother and that whole family. It's because I don't see them doing anything. When I sit there and I told people to kick rocks, only I used a particular other phrase that there were memes about. I told people to F off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will work with whoever I can to try to bring and find my son and bring him home. Because he's all that matters to me. And we're going to have people out here throwing shade at me. Well, I don't like the way he sounds now. I don't like this. I don't like that. Well, I don't like you. But if you get your ass up from behind the fucking computer, it's put out some flyers, man. That's the bare minimum. While you sitting there throwing,
maybe what we could do.
House, understand that I'm not throwing rocks because I'm out there. I put out flyers. I'm literally going to go pick up more and hand out more flyers. I'm running out of supplies, not because I don't have it. It's because I have to reorder it. It means I'm going through my supplies.
Right.
All right.
And you handed me flyers and other stuff. I still have the bands. I'm going to be sending out with the flyers. I haven't had a chance to do it since I've been back, which kind of sucks, but I will be getting it out when I return here in 2 days. I'll be leaving tomorrow and then I'll be returning here by Wednesday.
I mean, my sister sent me pictures yesterday and, and Friday. Well, that was yesterday, right? Yeah, Friday. She sent me pictures of she had to make 2 trips to the post office because she had taken a whole bunch of envelopes with the bracelets, flyers, and everything. She came up here and I gave her some, and and she's sending them out to people. And then she turned around and she sent me another picture. She was like, I went to the post office, came back, and she had 15 more people that reached out to her for flyers. So she turned around, packed more flyers into envelopes along with bracelets and sent them out.
Keep putting them out.
Doing what they can.
Keep putting them out, Seth. Just keep
sitting
doing it.
behind your computer, not doing anything. Come on, can't you be better than
Let's
that?
bring Sebastian home.
Mean, every day I wake up and I just want to be better for my son.
Well, Seth, and I think the context too, it really taken out of context. That aggressive statement you made was simply you in your way trying to say that you were willing to do anything it took to help find your son. And if people didn't understand that, they could take a hike. I mean, it was a bigger context than just the 2 words, correct?
It was. There was the person that shared that made it the first thing that they shared.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually at the very end after dealing with everything that I had dealt with, the vigil, emotions were high, Chris showing up twice in one day at the school. And it's like, dude, you couldn't even say this the first time you showed up. Why do you got to show up the second time and not actually stay for the vigil?
Oh my gosh.
That kind of hurt. Like, you want to talk about he's your stepson, but yet you don't want to show up for the vigil, and then you want to sit there and tell me vigils are for, for remembering the dead? No, that's a memorial, dumbass.
And then not only that, but there's all types of vigils, and it was a prayer vigil. It's prayer
Well,
for
we
his
were
safe
more
return.
together and asked for God
Coming
to enlighten
together
us and to bring what
to
is done in the
bring
dark
this
to the
child
light.
home.
And we were all there in one purpose. We were all there to ask God to bring Sebastian home,
Bring
to
Sebastian
show us
home.
where he is, to make sure that he's safe, to make sure that he's being protected by his angels. I am not there to protect him. I am asking God to protect him.
And that's what we should do. And everybody that's in the chat, why don't we put some prayer hands, some green hearts up, and
I like the.
Where'd you go,
I thank
Tony?
everybody in chat. I thank you for
TikTok
coming in this
Tony,
live
where'd you
stream.
go? Tony,
My
there you
apologies
are.
that I don't have more information.
Peekaboo.
And there will be a day that I start this, and I'm going to have my son standing right next to me and be like, "It's paid off because he's home."
yeah.
And keep him out
This
of
case has gone on way too long. We've got to
I
bring
think
the
it's
child
a
home.
horrible place.
Yeah, and I think
Somebody
it's
knows
smart that
something.
you
Come
you
on.
showing his baby photos, letting people
I
know
don't get
that,
this. I don't get this.
he is a child. He's a child that's loved, that, you want him to come home. People need to know that he's human. I feel like some people
Oh my
on
God,
social
Betty.
media sometimes feel, it's just it's just something on TV or something on a screen, but this really is a human being that was loved. And it's a huge loss with him out of your life right now. You're grieving a lot. You want your son here. So we
Where
need to
is
be
he? Where
working
is
together
Sebastian?
to
What is he
try to
eating?
find
Who's
and
taking care
locate
of
him.
him?
He's somewhere.
Is he okay?
Somewhere
He's
we
somewhere.
gotta find him. There is
I
no.
have my
There
theories.
is
I have
nothing
my
but find
thoughts.
Sebastian.
And I will put them out there
Right.
soon enough. But for now, we will just
So what I think we want to do,
listen
just so
to
the
his
audience
father.
understands, we are going to be going through all of the questions as a team. We haven't settled on the time that the show will be each week. We will work on that. We will get that out. I think, Seth, correct me if I'm wrong, we're working on having the show probably not on a weekend, but the same day and time each week. Is that correct?
It won't be the same time and day because once I go back to work, which I'm waiting, I've got doctor's appointments still. I have to be cleared by the doctor before I can go back to work. But when I do go back to work, I don't have the same days
Why
off every
are
week.
you doing a
My schedule
weekly
is a
show?
2-week schedule.
Why
Okay.
a weekly
So
show?
it's like if I'm off on Wednesday one week, I am not off Wednesday the following week.
Are you planning on this
So we're
to
going to
go
work
further?
to do a once a week type show or once every 2 weeks type situation.
What if
once we
he's found
figure that out,
tomorrow?
correct?
Come on,
I want to
TikTok
keep
Tony.
everybody informed with any information.
What are you
that
doing
I'm allowed
here?
to share. I want people to get it from the horse's mouth. I don't want people getting false information from people that don't have a stake in this. I have a stake in this. This is my son. If I'm not going to fight for him, who is?
We
Absolutely.
are.
So what we'll do is we'll work together.
Sebastian
Can't tell
has
you
an
guys in
army.
the audience how
We are
eternally
Sebastian's
grateful we
army.
are on behalf of Seth and Betty and myself. Especially Betty, you've got a huge group of your supporters in here. We can't tell those folks how much we appreciate them as well. Appreciate everybody's kindness in the chat, everybody's support in the chat, and let's just remember that this is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, 15 years old. If you do have any information, 1-800-TBI-FIND. Let's keep that in mind, and let's get refocused as a group, as Sebastian's army, and let's bring this child home to his father.
Amen. Amen. And I just want to give a big shout out to all the mods out there as well. You guys did an amazing job tonight. You guys allowed 1,700 people to hear a message from Sebastian's father. And
I mean, it's really horrible when I get a text message from you all like 2 hours before the show starts, going, "Hey, you got to get mods in because we already got fake people in chat running their keyboard warriors, with
That
their
is
little
sick.
false information and everything already in chat." And I'm like, the show hasn't even started yet, though. I'm like, okay. And then I go look, and I'm like, oh, wow. Look,
There's some
all
evil
this.
people out there.
I mean, if they were to
But
put
then
in the
there's some
third
of
of
us
the effort
that,
that they're doing to make it
truly
accountable
actually
and hand
do
out
care.
flyers,
We
Amen.
need to bring this
do
boy
something
home.
constructive.
Positive.
Absolutely.
If you're going to complain about something, come up with some solutions. That's
My
what I'm
dad
saying.
always told me, if you got a problem with something, you got to be willing to be part of it to change it.
Yep.
Yeah. Be a part of the solution, not the problem.
I'm trying
I
my
just want to
hardest to
thank you
spread the
both,
word.
so much.
We all
Seth,
need to
it's
keep
probably time for
Sebastian's
you to
name out there
go
to
take
spread
some
the
of your
word.
ibuprofen and go rest. He needs to rest. You did an amazing job, Seth. Just a few days after surgery, I was wondering if this was going to even go forward, because I'm like, he's having surgery Tuesday. Are we still on for Saturday? Are we sure we really want to? And he wants to talk about his son.
Hey,
At the
I
end of
wanted
the
to
day.
take flyers up to the Ludacris concert on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
All right. Surgery is not going to stop me. I mean, no, I won't accept defeat. My son deserves everything that I can give him, and then some.
Amen.
Seth, brother, you got a lot of love here. We love you. Sebastian's Army loves you. And do you want to close us out and tell everybody goodbye?
I want to thank everybody, and this is not goodbye. This is just, I will see you later.
Amen.
All right. Telling people goodbye. You do that at a funeral.
Let's bring this boy home now.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Sebastian's Army. We will find him.
God bless.
Sebastian strong.
God bless you guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Well, guys, there it was. There it was. Wow. Wow. Let's see. Let's bring up to this flyer. Sebastian. All right, guys. Again, let's bring this little boy home. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, age 15. He was last seen on February 26th in Sumner County, supposedly, allegedly, last seen by his mom at their home. She said that around 10, 11-ish that night, she heard a thud. She hollered at Sebastian, and she said, go to sleep. And that was the last of it until the next morning. And she said that she went to wake him up. He wasn't there. And that's when everything started. February 26th. We are now July 6th. People, what is going on in Tennessee with these other cases that are just hitting within the last week and 2 weeks, just in Tennessee? In my opinion, now these are just my personal opinions. Nobody has to agree with me. Nothing. If he truly made it home that night, And from what Katie Proudfoot is saying, that he was there at home, but yet none of the neighbors' ring cameras caught anything. Nobody walking, nothing. And then about 3-ish in the morning, there's video footage from a ring camera of two flashlights going through the field behind the Proudfoot's home. Okay. So I actually did an overlay of their neighborhood map from Google Maps. And I took the video clip of the flashlights that were around 3 a.m. And I kind of finagled, maneuvered, rearranged, resized, did an overlay of those flashlights. And I will be putting a video up soon of what I see. And when I did this overlay of the flashlights on their map of their neighborhood, it's kind of like a overhead view. So you have, all the roads, the streets, and all the houses, and then the field behind the Proudfoot's home. And then supposedly where that car was parked on the side of the road, that there is evidently ring camera footage. I can't find for the life of me. I've been searching and I can't remember where I seen that video footage at. I was trying to find that one. But the camera that that caught the flashlights, I found where that house is at. And so I'm wondering if that's the same camera that had seen the car also that was parked around that time. But anyways, the overlay I did, and I'm working on a video for you all. It plainly shows that there is a flashlight over where I would suspect that car would have been parked, and it seemed like it was waiting for somebody. And then the flashlight in the upper left corner of the video, I literally got it to overlay, and it comes walking from the Proudfoot's property through that back field and straight to that other light, which happened to be out on the street on the corner where the ring camera was. So I was kind of shocked that it matched up. And like I said, I'll be putting that video up shortly. I'm not sure if I'll get to it tonight, but it was like an aha moment. And I've been sitting on it for a couple days now. But yeah. So guys, I think I'm going to end it here. And I'm going to work on some more videos. But anyways, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already. Leave comments. And what's your thoughts on everything going on? What'd you think of Seth tonight and Tony? And then, of course, Bullhorn Betty. I just thought it was kind of strange that they are already scheduling to do a live once a week. I don't know. That's just kind of weird. To me, it's like, Okay, if we haven't heard any, for me, this is how I would do it. I wouldn't schedule, okay, every Saturday we're going to do a live, right? We're going to do a live. Hello? No. I would be like, okay, every couple days, do you have information? I am praying that he is found, you know. I'm not going to schedule, all right, next Saturday and the Saturday after and the Saturday after that. That to me, that just is feeling like hopeless. No, I'm not hopeless. I am praying and I know that this child will be found. This case has actually put me in tears. I I'm sick to my stomach thinking that little boy, he's out there. What is he eating? Where is he sleeping? Who is he talking to? Um, oh my gosh, I have my theories and I got to put a video together with my theories. But all right, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, share. Let's keep Sebastian's name out there and let's bring him home. And green hearts all the way. Sebastian's favorite color is green. Let's do green hearts. Green hearts all the way, everybody. Okay. This is me signing out. I will chat with you next time. Bye.